All right. I think we are ready to start here. Welcome everyone to this first of the year Cinch Partner webinar, part of our partner webinar series. It's my privilege to welcome Martin Morgan from Repair Shop Websites to talk with us today about how small businesses can market like large enterprises, even on a small business budget. Just by way of a couple housekeeping notes, folks that have already been on for a while, please excuse me repeating myself, but we will be using the Q&A function, which should be bottom right of your screen. Feel free to drop in questions as we go. We do have some dedicated time towards the end of the presentation for Q&A. So if we don't get you during the presentation, we're going to try to get you at the end. A housekeeping note there. Also, make sure you stick around towards the end. We do have a raffle giveaway of a water bottle. We'll be picking someone at random for that. And whoever the winner is there, make sure you reach out to us to redeem that prize. So by way of introduction, my name's Gabe Davis. I'm a partner manager here at Cinch. My job is to work with great movers and shakers in the industry like Martin and help just build this industry. And that's either with great agencies like Martin's or other great technologies, other great consultants and coaches. My job is just to plug us into that industry, provide that extra knowledge, and make sure that this industry is still growing and prospering. So that's my role. I think we've got some Cinch users here on the webinar today. But quick background of Cinch: we're a marketing and data science automation company. Our goal is to help you communicate better with your customers to drive customer retention and drive that repeat business. So then on the Repair Shop Websites side, Repair Shop Websites has been helping auto repair shop owners leverage the web to grow their business since 2005. Now, in addition to web design and web management, they focus on building a complete web presence for auto repair shops to attract new customers, including Google Ads, Facebook, Instagram, Nextdoor, reviews, Apple, Yelp, directory listings, and more. They do all of this while also providing the best customer service in the industry, highlighted by fast turnaround times, responsiveness, and availability. And again, we're really grateful to have Martin here with us today. Martin Morgan is a general manager Martin is the general manager of Repair Shop Websites. Martin has a passion for helping small businesses succeed. He has 20 years of experience in marketing and events and a degree in broadcast journalism from Syracuse University. I know he's a proud Orangeman. We've had that discussion before. So with that quick intro, I'm going to hand it off to Martin, who will start off our presentation today.
All right. Thank you, Gabe. And we are really excited at Repair Shop Websites to be working with Cinch. Have just really loved seeing everything that they've got in place there and just the benefits that it can build for auto repair shops. So definitely very excited about that. And thank you for the kind of introduction. Good afternoon, everybody. Really good to be here with you and appreciate you being here, especially those Repair Shop Websites customers. Good to see you all. We've got a great 1-2 punch that we've got going here. I'm going to focus on attraction marketing, and then Gabe's going to focus on retention marketing. A lot of what we're going to say today is going to complement each other really well. We're also going to cover a lot of ground too. So I encourage you, if you have any questions about anything that either I or Gabe speak to over the course of the presentation, to please use that Q&A or find a way to follow up with us after the fact. But we intentionally knew we were going to cover a lot of ground. So I'm going to jump in now and get it going with some attraction marketing. And really, when we look at attraction marketing, what we're focused on here is helping you bring in prospects that are not already your customers. And in that way, what I'm going to focus on specifically today are 4 key aspects of attraction marketing. 1 is your website, 2, your Google business profile, 3, reviews, and 4, social media and community, because the way that I really want you to think about social media is as an opportunity to build community, not so much as a way to just blast out things to people who are following you. And what I'm going to try to do in my part of this is really focus on how, as an independent auto repair shop, you can build an advantage over large chains and franchises based on how they operate in these specific areas. So as I mentioned, the first thing we're going to focus on is website. And what I really want to try to help you understand when it comes to website, the main goal is to show up in those organic search results, right? First page, first few listings, you want to show up right on that organic or on that search engine results page toward the top. And one of the key ways that you're going to be able to do that is to consider the way that Google looks at what websites that they show. And Google has made an adjustment within the past 5 to 10 years, whereas if you have been involved in this previously, you probably thought a lot about keywords, or maybe you've worked with an agency or somebody else that helped you. And one of the things that they asked you is, well, what keywords do you think are important? And what Google has done is they've changed. Keywords still play a role and they can still be important. But what Google is really trying to do is to be a question answering machine. So Google sets forth with the intention to serve the user the best possible results for whatever they might be searching for. So for instance, if somebody just types auto repair in the search box, Google sees that as somebody essentially asking, what is the best auto repair facility or service that I could use in my area? So Google is consistently trying to be the best question answering machine. So as you're building content and information for your website, one of the ways you want to look at that is, what are the questions that people are asking? And how do I best answer that with the content that is on my website? So, number one, think about things from that way, which is a different change. It's a change from the way that we have traditionally perhaps looked at websites. So again, Google's a question answering machine. When you're looking at your content for your website, you want to specifically capture that. The second piece that I want to mention, and really number 2 and 3 go hand in hand here. And as we talk about this from the standpoint of how you gain advantages over large chains and franchises, when it comes to your website, a couple of the key pieces are, a lot of times what will happen in those instances is they'll just build one big website. And so a location may just get one page on the website, whereas an independent auto repair shop, you've got many pages that represent your specific shop. So from that standpoint, you can utilize and leverage this different aspects of your website to help beat the larger entities. Two of the things I want you to pay some attention to are title tags, which are the bright blue area here toward the top. You can see that that's the title tag. And then page descriptions, which are those descriptions right underneath there. And why they're so important are because these are ways that you can catch attention and initially start your selling for your shop. And it's okay to sell here. That's the purpose. You want to sell why your shop is special here. So you want to focus that title tag in telling a story to the extent that you can. And you want that description to tell even more of a story and really capture somebody's attention from the standpoint of, you include a phone number there, they could easily dial you from there. If you include specific things about your shop, then that might help them choose you as well, at least consider you. The difference here is you can do this all specific to your shop. When we're talking about larger chains or franchises, a lot of what happens is they just create this once and they push it out to all the locations. So it's not personalized to a specific location or shop, whereas yours always should be, because that's one of your big advantages. And again, this is where you gain traction with potential customers, right there in the organic search area of the search engine results page. And then the last thing that I want to mention, because this is the place where you can really gain the largest advantage when we talk about a small business budget. This is really when it comes to hustling, or as you might say, grassroots marketing, and that is local links. One of the big things for Google is they love to see local links because that builds credibility for a business, for an organization. And what that means is, for auto repair shops, it's built off local search, which is different from what Google would say would be global search. You're competing with the other shops, the other entities providing auto services in your area. You're not competing with every auto repair shop across the country, or across the world. So the good news for you is you just have to be better than them. You don't have to be the best in the world. You just have to be the best in your area. One of the ways you can do that is by building local links. One of the clearest examples of that, if you look at this example right here, Garner Auto Specialists, they're a member of the Garner Chamber, and you see that visit website right there. A link from your local chamber to your website holds a lot of weight in Google's eyes because they see a Chamber of Commerce as one of the biggest entities within your community. So, and or if you serve multiple areas, say you're close to a couple different towns or cities, all of those links matter. Local organizations, associations, you can form business relationships where maybe a partner you have will put a link to your shop on their website. All of those things really matter in Google's eyes because that shows that you have local credibility. And again, the great thing here is you can make a big difference with just 6 to 10 of these links most often. Now, if you're a really populated area, you're going to need more, but you're not, again, 6 to 10, you don't need 20, you don't need 30, you don't need 40. You're competing against other local shops, and a lot of them aren't doing the work to get these, and especially if they're large chains or franchises. Again, they're just creating one thing and they're just pushing it out. They're not going to do the work to get local links. So this is really where you can get a big advantage. All right, so that covers the website. Second thing that I want to focus on is Google Profile, Google Business Profile. And one of the big things here is, unfortunately, not very exciting, but it's kind of like one of those things that you have to do regardless. And that's category. And when you're looking at category, you don't want to be creative. You don't want to try to be clever. Pick auto repair shop. Unless you're specifically like a tire shop, you want to be sure you pick auto repair shop. The reason for that is that's the broad category that Google feeds everything else through. So if it's anything auto repair related, they're looking for auto repair shop and they're going to feed everything else through there. As I mentioned, one of the exceptions can be something like tires. If you're selling tires, you can pick tire shop. Otherwise, keep that auto repair shop always as your category. The second piece, and this is a nice advantage, a place where you can get an advantage, that's services. On your Google Business Profile, you want to make sure that your opportunity there's an area where you can select services, put down all your services, put every service you offer in there. The reason why this is important, and I've got this example right here on the screen, if you look at the middle piece, that's a Google Business Profile for a customer right there. And you will see services if you look down toward the bottom. Now on the right, I conducted a search for auto engine diagnostic, right? Not sure anybody would specifically search for that, but in this example, it's something that really sticks out. So it was a good example to use. But if you look down below, you can see that same shop, Garner Auto Specialist, is ranked number 2 in the local pack for auto engine diagnostic. And you see it says provides auto engine diagnostic. Well, Google pulled that directly from the services in their Google Business Profile. So if you put all your services, you're highly increasing the likelihood that you're going to show up in the local pack if somebody searches for those specific services. So you want to be sure to build this out. Again, it's an opportunity as an independent repair shop for you to beat out some of those larger chains and franchises, because what's great for them is they can use efficiency. And if they own multiples, they can manage just one Google Business Profile and spit it out to all of their other shops, right? But in order for them to do that, they make it very generic. So they're not going to be specific. They're not going to do things that really help a specific shop in a specific location really shine. But this is where you can be super specific, because you can highlight all of these services right in there and give your shop a better chance to do well in the local pack and in the map. The other piece of that is the next one, which is description, which is exactly the same sort of thing. Larger entities, they're going to shoot these out so it all kind of looks exactly the same. For you, with your shop, you can be really specific. You can really max out the space that you have in this description. Put all your services, put the things that make you special, loaner cars, other things that might make you special from especially the other competitors in the area. Highlighting all those things here help you that if somebody puts something like that in the search, like we just saw, you're going to be more likely to show up there because Google uses that information to determine what shops should show. So while you can't get an advantage at the category level because everybody needs to be auto repair shop, where you can get an advantage is when people search for specific services or maybe specific amenities that only you have or you're one of the only shops that have. So utilize those two places to really help you in that way.
And just to clarify, Martin, I mean, this, if I'm a shop owner, this isn't costing me anything extra on my Google business profile to add this stuff, right? Is that right?
Exactly right, Gabe. This
Yeah.
costs nothing. That's the beauty of the Google Business Profile is
Yeah.
that it costs nothing, yet it packs so much weight because people love to use the local pack or the maps to search for local service providers like auto repair shops. It's roughly 1 out of every 3 clicks that happens when there's a search conducted for a service company like auto repair is in local pack. So you want to optimize your Google Business Profile as much as possible to be found. And these are some of the easier things that you can do because it doesn't take any money. It just takes some time and effort. And most service providers that a shop might work with are going to help them with that. But you want to make sure that whether it's you as your shop doing it or somebody doing it for you, that you are putting the time and effort into optimizing, especially these pieces.
Awesome.
And then the last thing I would say for Google Business Profile, this is more of a here's what some of these larger entities are doing, here's what some of the chains are doing that you want to make sure you're doing too. And that's utilizing posts. And how you want to utilize posts is you want to put offers or promotions in there because those will also show up sometimes in your Google Business Profile or even on a map. Let's say somebody's searching in maps and they're looking through Google profiles, business profiles that show up there, and you've got a special offer. It might show right up there. The bigger entities do a really good job of utilizing this. And hear what I'm saying here too. You don't have to have discounts or coupons necessarily. You can utilize things that you would offer anybody or just show some similar offers that you would get or specific promotions that you might be doing here. But what it does is it brings it, highlights it to a potential customer. They see it, they're going to be more likely to look at your Google Business Profile and then potentially give you the business. So utilize posts as well. And then the third piece that I want to mention, and this is one of the things that Cinch is really big on as well and can really help you with, and that's reviews. So when we've talked about organic search, we've talked about local search, the local pack, maps, those things get you found, those things get you seen. One of the most important ways that people make their decisions on what shop to choose is by looking at reviews. So you very much want to make sure that you've got a steady flow of reviews. And one of the key things here, when you look at the top 3 of the 4 top ways that people decide to choose a shop or other services, let's say, are 3 of the top 4 are based on reviews. So those 3 things, average rating, positive sentiment in the reviews. So you see, what information people share to go along with the review, and then quantity with text. And that's one of the important things. People are highly suspicious of a bunch of 5-star reviews with no text to it, which makes sense. As business people, you probably get once a day, 2 or 3 times a day, these emails from fake people perhaps, or bad actors that are telling you they can get you, 100 reviews in a month. Don't ever, ever, ever do that because that can get you blocked by Google. But these are the 3 things that are super important: average rating, positive sentiment, and quantity with the text. So as a result of that, what you really want to pay attention to, 4 big things: quality, quantity, frequency, and recency. So you want to make sure you've got all of that covered. How do you do that? You ask consistently, you ask in multiple ways, and then you have systems and processes in place. That's one of the things that the larger chains and franchises are really good at. The systems and processes. It's pretty much automated and built out, so they make sure that people get asked for reviews. You want to have similar systems and processes in place. You want to make sure that you're asking in multiple ways, and you do want to pay attention to those 4. I just want to emphasize them again. Quality, what's your star ranking? quantity, how many reviews do you have, and how does that compare with other competitors? Frequency, consistency is important, and recency. When was the last review? If I'm looking at a business and the last review that I see was 6 months or more, I'm questioning whether they even exist anymore because that's a long time in a consumer's mind. So by having these systems in place, you can make sure that you get them consistently. And then, again, the reviews are what get you chosen. So you want to make sure that you're getting that steady flow of good reviews.
Yeah, and maybe one thing I would add to this, Martin, too, that I know we preach a lot here at Cinch is, you know, obviously you need to be getting reviews. You got to have these processes in place. Responding to reviews is
Yes.
also an important part. And when I think about looking at reviews, I want to see, has the business I'm looking at responded to the 1 star review? Have they pleaded their case, or have they said sorry? Have they tried to make it right? Like, having a process in place to respond to reviews, I think, is another key aspect here.
100% agree, Gabe. That is really important. And consumers love to see that as well.
Totally. Yeah.
And to your point, since you mentioned the 1 star review, I've got to just say, remember, if you get one of those reviews, your response is more for your potential customers that will see it after the fact than for the person that gave you that 1 star review. So we try to work closely with our customers to make sure we get really professional responses to those reviews. So just encourage you all as well to think of it that way.
Awesome.
And then last piece that I want to cover is social media. And this really is all about building meaningful connections. So when you're posting on social media, you want it to be educational and engaging. Not all will be both of those things. That's harder to do. But in educational really or engaging, minimal to zero selling. Minimal to zero selling. And that's a way that you can beat some of the larger chains because a lot of times they'll utilize something like Facebook for the selling piece, and that's not really what it's meant to be. By the same token, you want to understand the rules of the road for the platform that you're utilizing, any platform that you're utilizing. How do most people use it? What do most people do? What gets the most attention? You also want to make sure that you are participating in it in a way that's going to improve your business or improve awareness of your business. There's a lot of frivolous stuff that happens on social media. And if you love doing that sort of thing and it's fun for you and you're doing it just for that, then that's fine. But when you're participating as a business, you really want to make sure you're getting something out of that. And really, for us, when we look at it, it's all about building those connections, participating, being a part of the community. And that's why one of the things that I would say, and that's critically important when you look at social media, bigger is not necessarily better. Facebook's the 800-pound gorilla. It's huge. Everybody's there, right? But it's easy to get lost on Facebook and or to not understand where people in your community are engaged and participating. So Facebook may not be the place that you want to be. Maybe there is a group there and it works for you, but there are several other places that you could look. Something like Nextdoor, referenced in the image that's here. Nextdoor is a great platform that's built on communities and people within communities connecting with each other. What I see, we have Nextdoor in our area. We're in Raleigh, North Carolina, and communities around, there's probably not 2 or 3 days go by that somebody is asking about an auto repair shop or some sort of services, right? So looking at Glassdoor, you may have a homegrown message board type thing that was built in your area. It's hyper local. Utilize that. That's where you want to be. And you don't want to be there again in a way where you're selling, 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 but you want to make those connections. The best thing you can do to get people to recommend you is to find your happiest customers, people that are participating in that area, and encourage them to recommend you. As you can see from the Nextdoor recommendation on the right that I put here, people are out there asking, and if your best customers are out there recommending you, that's going to carry so much weight and really have a big impact on your best utilization of these platforms. So encourage your customers when you can to recommend you on there as well. So very important note there from a social media standpoint in building and working with community. So three big takeaways. If you just take three things from everything that I said. One, local links drive website rankings, and it's a great way for you to beat large chains and or, to get the best ROI for the budget that you have. Really, this is sweat equity in a large part for you is making those relationships or just asking people. You've probably got a lot of relationships already built in your community. Ask them for those links to your website on their website. Two, include all your services on your Google Business Profile services area. Get all the services, get them right there. That's really going to pay off in the local pack. And then three, reviews get you chosen. The most important thing for you on the internet, really, from the standpoint of helping potential customers see you and evaluate whether they're going to reach out to you, are reviews. So make sure that you've got a good process in place, that you're consistent about it, and that you get those reviews consistently coming through. Recency and frequency matter in addition to the quality and quantity.
Great. Well, now you got to listen to me. That was such great content there from Martin. I know it's great because we actually had someone just type in a question here a minute ago asking if this material will be available after the webinar. It will be. We'll be following up with everyone that registered. You'll have access to this as well as some other free giveaways we've got. So be looking for that. So now you've got me to talk to you about retention marketing. Martin talked about, all the tricks, all the advantages you can use to get somebody into your shop for the first time. And you'll be putting in a lot of hard work to do that. And now the trick is, can you keep them? And we've got a lot of savvy business owners here who I'm sure know keeping an existing customer is cheaper than going and finding a new one. And so if you can really find a strategy around some of the things that we'll talk about today, it's really going to help your business grow, help it be more stable, et cetera. So I'll hop in here. There's three areas that I wanted to talk about today. The first is clean customer data, what that means, marketing channels, how you're communicating with your customers through which means, and then tracking and understanding the ROI that you're getting from your retention marketing. And within each of these three broad subjects, I'm going to talk about three kind of aspects of it. The first is why it matters. The second is how large organizations do it. And then the last one is why I think we're all here, which is how can I do it on a small business budget? How can I do each of these ones? Have clean customer data, market through multiple channels, and understand what my retention marketing is bringing me. So we'll start here first with clean customer data. There's kind of two reasons why this matters. The first is you are able to protect against overspending on marketing when your customer data is clean. And so I like for this one to give actually a real world example that I had. So I've been going to a neighborhood shop for the last couple of years. And back in October, I came home one day, checked the mailbox. I pulled out a promotion from them, a mailer that said I was due for my yearly admissions test. I was excited. I always kind of track these things when I get any type of retention marketing from a shop. I get excited because it's kind of what I live and breathe. I reached into my mailbox again. I had another mailer from the same shop that had almost the exact same. It was almost the exact same mailer. There was one difference, which was my name. One said Gabe and one said Gabriel. And so I got really interested in this. I mean, everything was the same: car, address, the year of my car, that I was due for admissions, language, all of it was the same. Just my name was different. And so I got really interested in this, started to do some research, talked with the shop, and I wanted to understand how much did this cost the shop? They double marketed to me. Now, say if they're making this same mistake across their entire database, how much is this costing? So I did some quick napkin math. So average mailer costs you maybe 75 cents to send. Average database size, how many names you have in your point of sale or your shop management system, maybe 20,000. And since at Cinch we really focus on clean data, I have some access to some of our numbers. I looked at about 20 different accounts. On average, the number of duplicate records is 9%. So 9% of your customer database is duplicates. And just for those that might be multi-shop owners on today, if you've got multiple shops, this number increases dramatically, right? Because if maybe Gabe goes and visits your Main Street location, and then 6 months later he visits a different location of your same shop. There's a potential there for duplicate records for Gabe. And so just a note there on multi shops. But the basic napkin math here is that this shop, just to send people an admissions reminder, on average is probably overspending $1,350. Now, if you think about the multiplier effect of this, what if they're doing the same thing for their oil change reminder mailers? What if they're doing the same thing to remind people that it's time to switch out to winter tires? We're talking about multi-thousands of dollars of over marketing to people. And by the way, it works, right? Like I came back in with that mailer. I used the coupon, but they spent double to get me to do that. So the number one reason why clean customer data matters is that it protects against overspending on your marketing. The second reason I think is much more obvious, which is the cleaner your data is, the stronger your communication is to your customer, the better relationship that you have with your customer. And it feels more local, which is, I think Martin highlighted this a lot in what he was talking about. This is one of your biggest advantages. If my shop, and they know me, by the way, in the front desk, they know my name, but their mailer comes to me and it's using my full name and my nickname, and it doesn't feel local anymore. It feels too corporate. And so by having clean data that really recognizes who I am, it feels more local, because there's only going to be one communication. They're using my preferred name, et cetera, et cetera. So that, again, why customer data cleaning is important. You're not going to overspend. You're going to feel more local, which is a huge advantage for you. How do large organizations do this? I won't go into too much detail here, but I do love this quote from a VP at Apple. You can read this here. Customer data will be the biggest differentiator in the next 2 to 3 years. Whoever unlocks the reams of data and uses it strategically will win. So I highlighted that last piece there. Whoever unlocks data, you're going to win and uses it strategically. So there's a lot of different tools here. And so I went on a deep dive looking at big organizations. I looked at, for example, Target is really good at this, having clean customer data. Looked at a bunch of other large organizations, but there's just a huge amount of tools that they're using. There's something called ETLs. There's cloud storage that you got to use. There's AI and machine learning, which is helping you, figure out how to even message to customers based off of their data, and what's the right promotion, and what's the right verbiage, all this good stuff. So lots of big enterprise softwares and tools that these organizations are using. And then beyond that, you got to have a bunch of folks on your payroll to run the dang things, right? You got to have your data engineers, you got to have a database administrator, you got to have a compliance officer, because you're dealing with customer data. So I started to do some of the calculations on, okay, if you need each of these types of softwares as an organization, and you need each of these type of employees, how much does it cost? The short answer is just a lot. Like the calculation gets into a million, and I can't count past that many, so I stop there. The answer is it's a lot. So these big organizations, these smart organizations, are recognizing data is key to our future, and they're spending the bucks on it. So where does that leave us, right? So we're small business owners. We don't got the small business budget doesn't cover those type of softwares, doesn't cover that many employees. So what can you do? A couple suggestions that we wanted to propose here. The first is really you have to start caring about customer data. If nothing else that you get from my part of the presentation today, I want you to remember data equals dollars. And honestly, the buck stops with you as the owner of the shop, to emphasize to the team and train them on ask for customer information. And it's amazing to me. I can talk to 2 shops that are in the same city or same county, and I can look and see how good are they at capturing customer data, meaning, are they asking for emails? Are they asking for physical address? Are they asking for phone number? And 2 shops that are in the same area can have 2 different rates of capturing customer data. And the one shop owner is telling me, yeah, my guys, they just are too nervous about asking. They get scared. People in our community are private people. They don't share that information. But I'm looking at the shop that's down the street, and they have no problem. So the worst thing that anyone could say to you is no. No, I don't want to share my email with you. So training your team not to be scared to do that. is really key here. And then making sure that you track success. Do you know if you're improving on customer data? Does anyone on this call right now, if I asked them, do you know how many phone numbers do you have? How many emails? How many addresses do you have? Those are questions you need to be able to answer. So one thing in Cinch that I want to highlight here, this is a screenshot from one of our reports. This is from a shop that recently joined with Cinch back in the fall. This is all their customer. On the left side is a screenshot of their entire customer database. So they got 18,000 customers. Of those 18,000, they've got 448 emails. That's 2.5%. That's not good. When we talk about what we just learned about the value of data, the value of clean data, not having emails, not collecting those, not good. This owner has, since joining Cinch, started to realize the power of email. And sometimes we think only texting is the only thing that matters. Email still drives a lot of business to shops. And since he joined Cinch, the right-hand side, he's had 726 transactions, and almost half of those, 42.3%, he's gotten his team to capture an email for. So huge improvement there. That's all coming because the manager started to care, the owner started to care, started to track it. So the other thing I'll say, look for ways to combine functionality, finding tools that can do the cleaning, can do the marketing, can do the housing of data. One example of that is a CDP. Cinch happens to be a CDP, which stands for Customer Data Platform. I could talk more about that later, but it's a type of tool that's not just a CRM that's automatically emailing and texting people willy-nilly. It's putting in the hard work to make sure that data is clean before those marketing pieces go out. The last thing I'll say is also having a source that you can have a 360-degree view of who your customers are and what their brand experience has been. Sometimes that's your point of sale, your shop management system. Sometimes it's the CRM, but you need to have one place where you can go, where you can say, I need to know how valuable is Gabe to me as a customer? How many times has he been in the last 6 months? Does he have multiple cars that he brings in? And now I have a way to rank him against my other customers. Do we know if Gabe's ever left a review? Like, you have to have one place where you can say, I have everything that I need to understand Gabe's experience with my brand. One thing I'll highlight here too, this is a screenshot from a bigger client of ours. They've got, I think, 6 locations. Cinch is a tool that provides kind of a 360-degree view of their customers because we're cleaning and matching that data. They've got over 270,000 in their customer database. 39% of those are duplicates. And so if I ask them, how valuable is Gabe to you? They don't know, because they've got Gabe, they've got Gabriel, they've got Gabe David instead of Gabe Davis. They've got all these versions of me. So they can't actually tell one story about who I am until they started working with Cinch, and we're doing, again, that hard work to clean the data. So I'll mention really quick, briefly here, just because a lot of people are curious, what's really the difference between a traditional automotive CRM and a CDP? So CRM is grabbing all this data, either from your point of sale, reviews data, any other data sources like scheduler, landing pages. They're grabbing all that data and they're bringing it into the CRM. And it's kind of like clunky. It's like, oh, here's some transaction from some guy named Gabe. Here's a transaction from some guy named Gabriel. Here's like somebody who scheduled something named Gabe. There's no kind of cohesive story. It's clunky. It kind of looks like my college roommate when he loaded the dishwasher. Like there's no organization here. And what's the result when those traditional automotive CRMs go to market to Gabe? You get these kind of problems where we say, hey, Gabe, our records show that your Toyota's Tacoma's due for an oil change. Hey, Gabriel, our records show that your Toyota's due for an oil change. You're saying the same message to Gabe twice because the record's not clean. And another example is, hey, we see that we got a bad review from somebody who's got an email, gabehdavis@gmail.com. We don't really know who that is. We've got somebody here named Gabe H. David, and that's because somebody in the shop fat fingered my email address. We can't connect that back to the bigger record. So when we go to respond to it, we don't know, is Gabe really a valuable customer? What's his experience been? Is he a longtime customer? We don't know. And so what does this all result in? It's frustrated customers. It's a confused team. Now, CDP, Customer Data Platform, is grabbing that same data and doing a couple important things. It's matching it, which means it's using data science and AI to say, oh, that Gabriel and that Gabe and that Gabe H. Davis and this guy that scheduled something, And this guy that clicked on the landing page, the repair shop website's built for us or whatever, like that's all the same guy. And then it's cleaning and saying, ship, crossing out the bad stuff. So that now when we go to communicate to Gabe, we have that 360-degree view of who he is. And it results in the cleaner customer data, the better communications, a better understanding of Gabe's experience, and better relationships. Because we're not going to say, hey, Gabe, you're due, and hey, Gabriel, you're due. We're saying, one unified Gabe, here's the communication. We know you, we know how valuable you are to us, and we're treating you that way. So I think it's worth to just highlight the traditional CRM and a CDP, what the difference is there. So I'll hop here now to talking about marketing channels, and we'll go through the same model. Why is it important to market through multiple channels, how the big boys are doing it, and how a small business can do it? So another quote here, just highlighting the importance of omnichannel, but another practical example I'll give you. So multi-channel marketing, meaning sending text messages, emails, mailers, so important because you're able to meet your customers where they are. So examples here, my mom, me and my wife. My mom, she hates getting text messages from businesses. She sees it as it's kind of like invasive, my privacy. She'll unsubscribe immediately. Never looks at an email. Now she saves mailers. The second she gets them, it's going in the visor. And the next time she drives by the automotive shop that gave her that 10% off on an oil change, she's stopping. Now me, I hate mailers. I go to the mailbox, and most of the time they're going straight into the garbage can that's by the mailbox. I look at every email that comes to me. My personal email is really, really clean. And I take that really seriously. It makes my life less hectic. And then I'm really responsive to text messages. If business texts me, remind me I'm due for an oil change, remind me I'm due for a dentist appointment, whatever it might be. Like, I'm interacting with that. My wife saves and uses mailers. Her email box is a black hole. I think the last I checked, there's like over 4,000 unopened emails. And she also responds to text messages. So if you're just doing texts, you're missing out on my mom's business. If you're just doing mailers, you're missing out on my business. If you're just using emails, you're missing out on my mom's business. So trying to find ways to have multi-channel marketing and even better omni-channel marketing, which I'll talk to you about in a sec. But being able to meet your customers where you are, interact with them where they are, is just so vital. How big organizations do it, I won't go into the same thing much detail here. I think there's an important quote there about being where your customers are. They're using all these different types of tools. They have to hire creative people to manage them. They have to hire tech people to help manage them as well. And how much does it cost? Same thing, just a lot, right? And I was looking at actually Home Depot, where I got this quote from. They do this really good. Home Depot's got a great app. They've got great texting. They got great emails. They got great mailers and coupons and booklets that they send out that are coming to their customers from every channel. But they're spending a lot of money to do that because they've got the technology, because they've got the manpower and the team. Again, we have the same problem, small business owners. How do we compete? How do we build omni-channel marketing to make sure that we're meeting our customers where they're at? A couple points of advice: omni-channel always trumps multi-channel. The difference here, the way I think about it, omni-channel, the marketing channels are speaking to each other, meaning we're not going to send Gabe the text, the email, and the mailer all at the same day, because maybe Gabe just responds to the email we send him, and then we don't have to bug him with the text message and the mailer. He'll come back in if we just send an email saying you're due for an oil change. Multi-channel is like, we're kind of like shotgun blasting, spray and pray, send Gabe every message through every channel right now. And obviously that again has an issue of, are we being as effective with our marketing budget as possible, right? Gabe doesn't need the mailer. And are we going to start bugging Gabe because we just blast him with every channel at the same time? So omni-channel always trumps multi-channel, and finding solutions that can text and email and mailer all at once or all together, instead of finding one solution for each of those channels, becomes a real good money saver. So the next one is, and I have a free giveaway for this at the end, making sure that you have a high digital reputation. And I can talk more about that. But it's really important that your emails that you send for retention marketing are going into the main inbox of Gmail, not to promotions, and obviously not to spam. And we take that really seriously here at Cinch. Our emails are going into the main inbox, and there's key steps that you or your email provider need to take to make sure that's happening, that you have a high reputation, that Google says, ooh, an email from this domain is good, it's trustworthy. So if that's interesting, make sure that you hold on here to the end. We'll talk more about that. We're tracking this as well within Cinch. Another screenshot here of a report, but we're always watching how many people are opening emails, how many people are actually getting an email sent to their inbox, how many are bouncing. So just another report there. And then where possible, a great way to save money, because you can't hire a creative on your team, is to outsource that, working with great companies like Repair Shop Websites and Martin's team to do some of this stuff, to make your branding look clean, to make your communications precise and engaging. These are great resources for a small business, because when you think about the payroll of having to hire 3 or 4 or 5 of these people to do omni-channel marketing, can be quite a task. So finding good outsourced resources there. And then the last part I'll mention here is find meaningful and unique channels. So we've talked about texting, emails, mailers. We at Cinch make sure that there's ways for a small business to continue to feel local and small. So some examples here, we've got an ability to send brownies to people. Like if you want to say, I want to send brownies that are branded to everyone that spends over $500, you can do that. If you want to send a handwritten letter, we're about to launch a partnership with a company that uses a robot to handwrite letters. Talk about a local feeling, right? The last one I'll highlight here, AutoNet TV. I'm sure there's some folks here that use that in their lobbies. AutoNet TV creates these educational videos. You can add those to some of your marketing, and it can feel more targeted, more like you are caring about me. You're educating me on why the oil change matters. It feels local. So finding some of those unique channels, again, can be a real advantage. The last area I'll talk about, and this will be brief, is you need to understand your ROI. I'll say the same thing here that I said earlier. You're all business owners. I think you understand. It's important to know, what am I getting out of my marketing spend? I'm spending money on these mailers, on this texting, on the CRM. Like, is it driving business back to me? And beyond that, it's smart and important to know, how much am I getting from each of these channels? If I'm doing omni-channel marketing, how many people are coming in when they get the mailer versus the text, versus the email? And so being able to track that becomes really important. Big organizations do this in a lot of different ways. Again, I won't go into much detail about this, but they're hiring a lot of people. They're using a lot of enterprise level software, and it costs a lot. Okay. They're spending lots of money to say, out of this email blast that we do, from this text blast we do, here's how much money we get back. Small businesses, how can we do it? How can we know? First, this all comes back to making sure that you're putting in data correctly. One thing that I see and I hear from a lot of shop owners is, we do mailers, we love mailers, it brings back in business, but I don't really know how much, because my guys, when they get the mailer that has a coupon code, they just type in some general code, XXX, whatever, and it's not the actual code on the mailer. It's just some internally known code that just means they can skip this step and keep working. Training the team to say, look, mailer coupons, we need them in here because this is going to help us know how these mailers are using. Same thing across some of these other channels. Just really vital. The last one is making sure whatever CRM or marketing software you're using, it provides some sort of reporting, and you know where to go to look at that. So I know some other solutions in the space will say, oh, like we'll email you once a month or once a quarter. We'll tell you how good things are. I would say that's not good enough. Like, make sure that your CRM is giving you access in real time. What am I getting out of my marketing? And then the last piece here is, if you are using multi-channel, make sure you know the difference between how much am I getting out of my text versus my emails versus my mailers. Here's what a report looks like from Cinch, where we're tracking, okay, out of all the money that you got from all the marketing that we did to repeat business, to retention business, how much of it came from texting, how much it came from mailers, how much of it came from emails. So having a way to go, oh, you know what? Looks like we're making some money from mailers. Let's not cut that out of the budget. Or it looks like mailers are underperforming last quarter. Maybe we don't need to use them as much. Like, as a business owner, you need to be able to know, where am I getting my money from out of my channels, and where do I need to invest more or less in? So making sure you have a view into that from whatever tool you're using. My three takeaways: data equals dollars. So do something about it. Make sure that the team is asking for information, make sure that it's being put in correctly, and then making sure that whatever tool you're using to communicate is superpowering that data, is cleaning that data so that you're not unnecessarily double marketing, which then my goes kind of in my second point here, which is utilize tech that leans into your strengths, right? Utilizing things that make you feel local because you still are local. Is it brownies that you can send out automatically? Is it handwritten letters? Finding ways to feel local, but that isn't going to take all of your time. You're not going to have to lick stamps or bake brownies or whatever, right? And the last one, just understanding your ROI, which I'm sure we all know already, but is worth repeating. So with that, I think we'll jump just to the Q&A here. And I think I saw some more questions come through. Maybe those got answered offline. But yeah, make sure that if there's any other questions, just in the next minute here or two, yeah, type those in. Okay, just as another follow-up, we will be able to market, or excuse me, we'll be able to share this with you as a recording. We just had another question about that. We will be able to share this with you afterwards. Okay. Not sure if we have any questions. Okay. Perfect. Well, thank you all for tuning in today. We will now do the giveaway. Before we do that, just a couple points up for giveaways for today and kind of next action items. We do have, I mentioned, a specific guide on your email strategy for marketing and making sure your reputation stays high. Scan that top QR code to access that. If anything that I said about Cinch sounded interesting today, there's our link to schedule a demo. Costs nothing to schedule. If you are a Repair Shop websites customer, you're a friend of ours, and we certainly want to find a way to help you with Cinch or just understanding some of these tools out here to market to people. So that second QR code there allows you to do that. And then our next slide here. Martin, do you want to walk through that?
Yeah, absolutely. And if I would just encourage you all, if you haven't been through a Cinch demo, I encourage you to do that. The stuff you can do with the system is really amazing. And Gabe touched on some of the things, but the complexity of the things that he spoke about is much greater than the stuff I spoke about. We had the same amount of time. But what's really cool is the way that they have their system set up is they simplify greatly the complexity and make it really easy for those shops and those shop owners who don't have a lot of time, really. And we know that you don't. But you can really get a great return on your investment and your investment of the time that you put into it to get those communications out there in the ways that Gabe had shared and showed and through the system and without duplicates and hitting on the things that are most advantageous or the things that the customers specifically like. So definitely encourage you to do that. On our side, we have a special January promotion going. We don't do promotions very often, really because we don't need to. But what we're trying to focus on in January, we'll do a free listings cleanup for anybody that signs on board with us in January. Basically, that means we'll go through a number of the online listing services, and if there's any issues with your shop, we'll go ahead and take care of that as a complimentary service and with signing up. If you'd like to book a demo with us, please use the QR code right here. And at any time, if I can be of help for you or your shop or just bouncing some ideas off of please do not hesitate to reach out. I just really enjoy helping auto repair shop owners, helping small businesses. So if I can be of any help at any time, please don't hesitate.
Love it. We had a couple questions come in there. Someone I think was having trouble scanning or couldn't scan, asked that we send that marketing or email guide. We will do that. If anyone else had that problem, just throw it in the chat, either on our QR codes on the Cinch side, or Martin's here for booking a demo with repair shop websites. Let us just know there in the question and answer. And then we just had a question come in, and I actually don't know the answer for this for you, Martin, but there was a question: what events will Cinch and repair shop websites be attending this year? Would love to come by and connect with the teams best I can. Martin, do you already have your schedule?
We don't have everything defined right at this point. The soonest thing, and it's very specific, but AutoWares, if you're in the Michigan area or Midwest, really, as they've expanded, we'll be at their Tech Expo next month. Actually, it's just a few weeks. That's the first thing that I know that we're participating in. I can't recall everything beyond that.
Good. Yeah, we'll be the ones that I know that are upcoming. Elite Worldwide, if anyone's part of that coaching group, their show, I believe it's in Dallas this month, or maybe it's even next week. We'll be there if anyone's part of that coaching group. If any Quick Lubes are on here, you might be attending the car wash show in Vegas this year. We'll be there. Also at SEMA and Apex later in the year. Some more kind of coaching shows, ATI. So those are some of our shows. But yeah, if you're not going to be at those, make sure you book a demo with Martin and I, our teams, because yeah, we've got some good stuff to show you. So I think with that, do we have our winner? Big drum roll for the Awala water bottle. Our winner is Ralph Weatherington. So Ralph, we'll be reaching out to you to get that water bottle sent your way. Whoops, let me go back there. To get that water bottle sent your way, and I think you even get to choose the color. So we should force you to choose the Cinch and the repair shop website colors, but I think you pick your color. So I think we're at time then. Everyone, thank you so much for coming and listening. Big shout out, obviously, to Martin for being a part of our partner webinar series, our first one of the year. This was just fantastic. So much valuable information for a shop owner that's looking to compete in a complex space. So really appreciate it.
Thank you, Gabe. It was awesome. Yeah, and there was a lot of real valuable information. So I hope everybody walks away with a few to-dos or practical things that you can apply tomorrow, maybe next week.
Awesome. Great. Well, thanks, Martin. We'll be catching up with you later, and thank you all for attending. And yeah, hope to be hearing from you soon.